Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our collective salutations to the divine, devotees from around the world, staff and students, a very good morning and welcome to the day 30 of One World, One Family World Cultural Festival. From the Holy Bible, in the first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 1, we come across a powerful message of unity. It reads, I appeal to you, brothers and sisters, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that all of you agree with one another in what you say, and that there be no divisions among you, but that you be perfectly united in mind and thought. This profound message calls us to rise above borders and differences, to cherish diversity not as separation but as strength, to move beyond the narrowness of I and embrace the vastness of we, honoring each other as part of one great human family, united in spirit, united in love, united as one world, one family. As part of the Universal Wisdom for a United World lecture series, today we have with us Mr. Marjan, a pastor from Macedonia, whose life reflects the transformative power of God's calling. Rooted in the Christian tradition, his journey began with a deep realization of the love and compassion of Jesus Christ. This experience awakened in him a lifelong devotion to serve God and humanity. Responding to the divine call in 1995, he pursued theological education. Through his ministry, he has guided people towards faith and a life of service grounded in the values of gospel. His teachings draw people closer to God while inspiring them to live with purpose and compassion. Pastor Dimo's central message is anchored in love. He emphasizes the call to love God with one's heart and soul and to love one's neighbor without condition. Guided by faith, joy, and peace, his vision is of unity and oneness, where humanity walks together in the compassion under the light of Christ. He will address us in Macedonian, and the talk will be translated to English by Ms. Anita Janowska.
Един свет, едно семейство.
One world, one family.
Уште на самиот почеток сакал да го изразам моето големо задоволство
At the very early beginning, I would like to express my very high happiness and gratitude
и да кажам дека ми е голема чест да се обратам тука пред сите вас.
and to tell that I'm very honored to address you all today here.
И да споделам заедно со вас одредени размислувања и сваќања во поглед на прекрасното мото кое го имате.
To share with you my thoughts and my understanding related to the wonderful motto that you have. One world, one family.
Во таа смисла, благодарам на Садгуру Шри Madhusudan Sai за поканата.
In that sense, my gratitude, my sincere gratitude to Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai for the invitation to be here.
Да дојдам овде и да споделам неколку вредни моменти со вас.
And to share these valuable moments with you.
Како што веќе беше кажано, името ми е Марјан Димов.
As it was said, my name is Marjan Dimos.
Ти служам како пастор во една од црквите во Македонија.
And I serve as a pastor at one of Macedonian churches.
Нема да се повторам повторно во она што веќе беше кажано.
I will not repeat what was already said.
Тука сакав уште еднаш да ја нагласам причината зошто се одлучив за тој пат.
And I would like once again to emphasize the reason why I decided to follow this way.
А причината е дека до мојата 17 годишна возраст
And the reason is from my age of 17,
Не знаев што е тоа да се биде христијанин.
I didn't know what means to be a Christian
Кои се вистинските вредности во животот?
and what are the advantages in life with it.
Откако го запознав Христос,
When I get in touch with the
откако
law
се,
of Christ,
откако се предадов на Него,
when I surrender to Him,
тој стави една посебна љубов и радост и мир во моето срце.
there was a special love and happiness and peace in my heart.
И тоа прекрасно што го доживував во мене, сакав да го пренесам и на другите околу мене.
And everything that I experienced with myself, I wanted to share with others.
Па и тие да можат да вкусат од тоа добро што сум го доживеал јас и го доживувам.
In order they too can sweet and taste what I am enjoying in my life.
Мојата порака ова утро ја поделив на 3 дела.
I decided my speech on 3 parts, divided the speech on 3 parts.
Првата замисла за еден свет, едно семејство.
At the beginning, I will talk for the initial initiative of God for one world, one family.
Љубовта пат до вечниот живот
The love as a path to the eternal life.
и како до повторна хармонија со Создателот и вистински среќно семејство.
And how again to the total harmony with the Creator and to the real one world, one family.
И на крајот имаме еден краток заклучок.
At the end, there will be short
Заклучок.
conclusion.
Нека денес заедно да погледнеме на неверојатна вистина
Today there is one unbelievable truth,
вистина која е во самото срце на тоа што значи да се биде човек.
the truth that is within the real heart of what means to be a human.
Ова е Божјата прва и најчиста идеја за целиот свет.
This is the real and the very first idea of God for the world.
Кога Господ Бог го создал нашиот свет,
When the God created our world,
неговата замисла не била да биде место полно со караници, поделби и борби.
his idea was not that this world will be placed with discord, division and conflicts.
Напротив, неговата совршена идеја била целиот свет да функционира како едно огромно, среќно семејство, обединето под неговата љубов и водство.
In contrary, his first and perfect idea and design was for the world to be one large family united under his love and leadership.
Уште на самиот почеток, Бог го создал човекот,
In the beginning, God created the man,
давајќи му способности за љубов,
giving him capacity of love,
разбирање
understanding,
и, што е најважно, потреба да биде со други луѓе.
and what is the most important, the need to be with the other people.
Адам и Ева, првите родители,
Adam and Eve, as the first parents,
биле како темелот на ова семејство што Бог го замислил.
were the foundation of this divinely family as the God imagined.
Тие живееле во совршена хармонија со Бога и едни со други.
They lived in a perfect harmony with God and with each other
Во градината Еден.
in the Garden of Eden,
Место што символизира мир и изобилство.
a place, a symbol of harmony and abundance.
Бог не ги создал како да се сами за себе,
God didn't create them as an isolated individuals,
туку како суштества кои имаат потреба од заедништво, создадени да сакаат и да бидат сакани.
but as a beings who require community, created to love and to be loved.
А Божјата цел е секој човек на земјата да биде дел од едно големо, поврзано семејство каде што владеат љубовта, мирот и меѓусебната почит.
And God's intention and goal is every human being to be part of one great united family where love, peace and mutual respect will reign.
Оваа идеја за едно големо семејство не била само за нив двајца,
This idea of one big family was not limited to those of them only,
туку и за сите други луѓе што требало да дојдат по нив.
but extended to all humanity that would descend from them.
Бог посакал сите да бидеме како браќа и сестри,
God desired that all people be brothers and sisters,
поврзани со невидливи нишки на љубов и грижа,
connected by invisible threads of love and care,
живеејќи во единство со Него и едни со други.
living in the unity with their Creator, with Him, and with one another.
Светото писмо, односно Библијата,
The Holy Bible, Holy Scriptures,
ни го раскажува овој прекрасен расказ за почетокот.
portrays this magnificent story for the beginning.
Бог не ги создал луѓето како противници или непријатели,
God didn't create humans as a competitors or enemies,
туку како пар со цел да се развиваат и да го исполнат неговиот свет.
but as a pair with the purpose of multiplying and filling His world.
Нивната врска била многу блиска,
Their connection was intimate,
изградена врз доверба и меѓусебна поддршка.
based on trust and mutual dependence, support.
Оваа основна идеја за единство е основата на сето оно што Бог го сака за нас.
This initial intention of unity is the foundation of everything God desires for us.
Заедништво,
Fellowship,
љубов
love,
и мир.
and peace.
Тоа е совршениот идеал што Бог го поставил на самиот почеток.
This is the perfect, ideal establishment that God set at the very beginning.
Идеал кон кој треба да се стремиме и денес, особено вие младите кои ја градите иднината.
The ideal we should strive for even today, especially you young people, that you are building our future.
Љубовта кон вистинскиот Господ Бог Исус Христос и љубовта кон ближниот се пат до вечниот живот.
The love of Jesus Christ and love of the closest around one, our close people, is the way to the God.
Во една прилика еден човек му упатува прашање на Господ Исус Христос.
At one occasion, one person asked Jesus Christ,
Учителе, што треба да направам за да наследам вечен живот?
"Dear Master, what should I do in order I have eternal life?"
Верувам дека секој еден од нас сака да живее вечно.
I believe every one of us wants to live eternally.
И тој човек сакал.
That man, same, wanted that.
А учителот му вели,
And the master told him,
знаеш дека треба да го сакаш Бог со сето свое срце,
"You know that you should love the God with all your heart,
со сета своја душа,
with all your soul,
со сета своја сила
with all your strength,
и со сиот свој разум,
and with all your mind,
и својот ближен како себе си.
and your close one, same as you."
Но тој, сакајќи да се оправда, човекот му вели на Исус:
And the person wanted to explain himself is telling to Jesus,
а кој е мојот ближен?
"And who is my close one?"
Добро прашање.
Good question.
Дали знаеш ти кој е твојот ближен?
Do you know who is your closest one?
Господ Исус му го раскажал следниот пример.
Then Jesus Christ told him this example.
Еден човек додека слегувал од својот град во соседниот,
Once when one person was moving from one to the other city,
кој бил сметан за непријателски град,
who was treated as enemy city,
западнал меѓу разбойници.
unfriendly, was attacked by thieves.
Тие го соблекле,
They take off their clothes,
го претепале,
beated him,
потоа си заминале,
and left him.
оставајќи го човекот полумртов.
Leave the person alone.
Полумртов, да. Случајно во тоа време поминал еден познат човек
By occasion at that time,
и кога
one
го,
known person passed by,
и кога го видел на ранетиот,
and when he saw the person that is in wounds,
го заобиколил поминувајќи на спротивната страна.
he passed on the other side of the road.
По него дошол уште еден познат човек.
After that, there was one known person passing behind.
И вториот кога дошол до самото место,
The second one, when came to the place,
преминал и тој на другата страна.
he crossed the road to the other side also.
Еден пак трет човек,
And the third person,
кој бил сметан за непријател на ранетиот и на болниот,
who was treated as enemy, unfriend, not friend, of the wounded person,
кога дошол до него,
when he came to the person,
го видел и се сожалил.
saw him and compassionate on him.
И кога се приближил,
And when he came closer,
му ги преврзал раните,
he helped on his wounds,
полевајќи ги со масло и вино.
putting on them oil and wine.
Тоа бил начинот на кој се лекуваат раните.
At that time, that was the way of healing the wounds.
Потоа го качил на добитокот свој,
He put him on his
својот
car
живот. Го однел во гостилница и се погрижил за него.
and bring him to the first restaurant
А
and helped him.
утредената на кинисување извадил $500
And the day after, before he was leaving, he gave him $500.
му ги дал на гостилничарот и му рекол:
He gave them to the owner of the restaurant, of the pension, and told him,
погрижи се за него.
please take care of him.
А ако потрошиш нешто повеќе, кога ќе се вратам, ќе ти платам.
And if you spend more, I will pay you back when I will be back.
Кој пак од тие тројца мислиш дека му беше ближен на оној што падна во рацете на разбойниците?
So, who was the closest one to the person who was attacked by the robbers?
Кој беше ближниот?
Who was the closest?
Што мислиш ти?
What do you think?
Се разбира, ќе кажеме оној што покажа милосрдие.
Of course, that will be the person who show support and compassion on the wounded.
А ако
Human.
се согласуваш со тоа, тогаш оди и ти прави така.
And if you agree on this, then go and do the same.
Ако некој тврди дека има љубов кон некој друг, а тоа не го покажува преку своите дела, тогаш таквиот е лажец.
If somebody is telling that he has love for the others, but is not showing this, then it is a liar.
Господ Исус Христос сака нашата љубов да ја покажуваме на дело.
Jesus Christ wants us to show our love in action.
И втор пример ќе ви кажам.
I will tell you one more example.
Пример што Исус Христос го раскажа, а кој ни помага да разбереме колку е важна љубовта кон ближниот и како нашите постапки денес можат да имаат големи последици.
This is a story on how our love can help and impact on the closest one, and how our actions today can have consequences.
Еден богат човек и еден сиромав.
One rich and one poor guy.
Еден богат човек живеел раскошно.
One rich guy lived in abundance,
Се облекувал со скапа облека,
carrying very expensive clothes,
и фино ленено платно.
very fine linen and fabric on him.
А секој ден правел големи и богати гозби.
Every day he was making big celebrations.
Звучи како живот од соништата, нели?
It looks like life from the dream life. Looks like dream life.
Убави, скапи облики, многу храна, веселба, тоа е тоа.
Nice and expensive clothes, a lot of food, celebrations, that's it.
Но имало и друга страна на приказната.
But there is another side of the story, another coin.
Сиромав човек по име Лазар.
Poor man named Lazarus. Lazar.
Тој постојано седел пред портите на куќите на овој богат човек.
He was all the time in front of the doors of this rich guy.
Тој бил покриен со рани и единствената храна што можел да ја најде била онаа што паѓала од масата на богатиот.
His body was full of wounds, and the only food he has was the food that is falling from the table of the rich one.
Понатаму се вели дури и кучињата доаѓале и ги лижеле неговите рани.
It is said that even dogs were coming to touch his wounds.
Лазар немал ништо, бил заборавен од светот.
Lazar didn't have anything. He was forgotten from the world.
Што се случило подоцна?
What happened later?
Секој човек, без разлика колку е богат или сиромашен, поминува низ животот.
Every person, independently if it is rich or poor, will pass through the life.
Така било и со овие двајца.
That was with these two also.
Еден ден Лазар умрел и бил однесен од ангелите во Авраамовото присуство.
One day, when Lazarus passed away, he was brought from the angels to the heaven, to God's presence.
А Авраам бил човек кој му верувал на Бог со сето свое срце.
And Avram was the person who believed in God with all his heart.
Тоа место е место на мир и спокојство.
This was the place on peace and tranquility,
каде што праведните души биле во близина на Бог.
where the right souls were close to the God.
Но набрзо потоа умрел и богатиот човек.
But soon after, the rich person died too.
Но неговата судбина била поинаква.
But his destiny was different.
Бил погребан,
He was funeral.
но завршил во место на маки, односно во пекол.
He was brought in the place of difficulties in hell.
Додека бил во маки, богатиот човек подигнал очи и оддалеку ги видел Авраам и Лазар близко до него.
While he was in big difficulties, he saw Avram close to him.
Тогаш го повикал Авраама: "Татко Аврааме, смилувај се на мене."
Then he said to Avram, Father Avram,
Смилувај се на мене.
help me.
И прати го Лазар да го натопи својот врв од прстот во вода и да ме освиже, зашто се мачам во овој пламен.
please send Lazarus to put his finger in water and to bring me some, because I'm in big difficulties.
Ова ни покажува дека дури и во маки, тој се уште мислел само на себе и на своето леснување.
It shows us that even in the very difficult times, he is still thinking only on himself.
И претходно и сега тој не се сетил на Лазар што лежал пред неговата порта.
He didn't remember Lazarus who was sitting in front of his door.
Кој имал потреба од неговата помош, а тој можел да му помогне.
When he had a need of his help and the rich guy was in position to help.
Ке кажеме зошто толку голема разлика.
We will explain why this big difference.
Авраам му објаснил,
Avram explained,
чедо мое,
my son,
спомни си дека за време на твојот живот ги доби своите добра.
just remember that during your life you get a lot goods.
А Лазар страдаше.
And Lazarus was in danger and in suffer.
Сега тој овде се утешува, а ти се мачиш.
Now he is in better position and you are in difficulties.
Покрај се меѓу нас и вас се поставена голема провалија.
Now between both of you there is a big abyss.
За да не можат оние што сакаат да преминат од тука кај вас, ниту пак да преминат од таму кај нас.
In order passing through this to not be possible and people from one and the other side to not be in position to cross over.
Ова значи дека нашиот однос кон другите, особено кон оние што се во потреба, има важност.
That means that our respect towards others is very important.
Богатиот човек бил толку зафатен со своето богатство и удобност, што го игнорирал Лазар.
The rich man was that much busy with his enjoyment and wealth in his life, he forgotten Lazarus.
Не го нахранил, не му помогнал, не покажал сочувство.
He didn't give him food, he didn't help him, he didn't be compassionate on him.
Што можеме да научиме?
What we can learn from it?
Исусовата порака овде е јасна. Вистинската љубов прави милосредни дела и се грижи за другите.
It is very clear that the real life is mercy on others and is helping to others.
Грижи се за другите.
Take care of the others.
Секогаш обрнувај внимание на луѓето околу тебе.
Always take care for people around you.
Особено на оние што се помалку среќни или имаат потреба од помош. Не ги игнорирај.
Especially for those who are less happy and they are in need. Don't ignore them.
Не биди себичен.
Don't be selfish.
Богатиот човек мислел само на себе.
The rich one was thinking only on himself.
Ние треба да се трудиме да бидеме дарежливи, да делиме со другите.
We should be generous and to share with others.
Вредноста на животот.
The value of our life,
Начинот на кој живееме денес.
the way how we live today,
Нашите избори и нашите дела се важни за нашата иднина.
our choices and our deeds are important for our future.
Богатиот човек се сватил дека погрешил.
The rich guy understood that he made a mistake,
Но било предоцна за него.
but it was too late for him.
Тоа е причина зашто е важно да бараме прошка и да ги промениме нашите патишта додека сме уште тука на земјата.
That's why it's important that we change our actions while we are here on the earth.
Овој пример не подсетува дека вистинското богатство не е во парите или во материјалните работи.
This example shows us that real value is not in rich and in money and in wealth,
Туку во љубовта, добрината и грижата што ги покажуваме кон другите.
but in love, in compassion and care we share with others.
Како би постапил ти да беше на местото на богатиот?
What you should do if you are in the place of the rich one?
Како до повторна хармонија со Создателот и вистински среќно семејство.
And how to achieve renewed harmony with the Creator and truly happy family.
Светото писмо ни вели преку прифаќањето на Исус Христос како Господ и Спасител.
The Holy Scriptures told us it's by accepting Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior.
Да живееш според Божјото Слово, Светото писмо,
To live according of the Holy Bible, Holy
и
Spirit,
да ги следиш инструкциите за животот.
and to follow the instructions for a life.
Што значи ова практично за нас?
What does it mean practically?
Бог ни објавил во Светото писмо дека не само на земјата, туку треба да размислуваме и за небото.
In the Holy Scripts, God told us that we should take care not just for our life here, but for the life in heaven.
Оваа земја ќе биде уништена, вели, ќе изгори.
This earth will be destroyed, will be burned out.
А за тие кои го љубат Бог и нивниот ближен, Бог создава ново небо и нова земја, каде што повеќе нема да има солзи, плач, пискот, болка, ниту смрт нема да има веќе.
The God is creating new earth, new world, where there will no be place for sorrow, for pain, for difficulties.
Што се случува со нас луѓето?
What is going on with us people?
Ќе завршам со еден трет пример.
I will end with one third example.
Секој еден човек на оваа земја е извелкан целиот, еве како мене.
Every person in the world is not clean. Look at me.
Секоја една црта го представува злото кое го препуштаме во нашиот живот и во нашето срце. Значи, сето ова што го гледате го представува злото со кое се соочуваме во нашиот живот.
Everything that you can see on me, all the dirt, is the evil that we face in our life.
А сите сакаме да имаме чисти бели облики.
And we all want to have white and clean clothes.
Тие бели облики Бог сака да ги подари на секој.
Those white clothes God wants for us too.
Белата облика ја представува правдата пред Бог, оправдувањето наше пред Него.
The white clothes mean our honesty in front of God.
За тој да го направи тоа, мораме да дозволиме прво да ја собличи тој од нас валканата облика.
In order that to happen, we should allow God to take off our dirty clothes,
Признавајќи дека самите не сме способни да го направиме тоа.
if we confess ourselves that we are not able to do it by ourselves.
И тој вели Светото писмо преку Исус Христос, преку нашата вера во Него, ги отстранува нечистите облики од нас и ни дава нови облики.
Through believing God, through our love, through our trust, God help us to take off our dirty clothes from us.
Штом веќе се отстраните од нас, да пазиме на нашето срце.
When they are take off from us, let
Затоа што во нашето срце се крие најважното.
when we are in white clothes and they are take off from us, let take care of our hearts. Because in
Нека-
our heart,
Нека да дозволиме Бог да го исполнува со вистинска вера, љубов и грижа за другите.
let we allow that our heart is full of God, love, and real trust.
А злото нека биде далеко од нас.
And evil, let it be far from us.
Благодарам.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wisdom Father. May we now invite Sri M.S. Satyanarayan to extend a token of our gratitude and appreciation to Mr. Marjan Dimao. We shall now have a short 15-minute break, after which we will reconvene for Satya Darpan.
सुंदर सुंदर विनायका सुंदर सुंदर विनायका सुंदर सुंदर विनायका सुंदर विनायका शुभ मंगलदायक विनायका शुभ मंगलदायक विनायका शुभ मंगलदायक विनायका शुभ मंगलदायक विनायका विघ्न कोटि हर विमल गजानन 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 सकल विघ्न हर पाहि 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 गजानन ईश्वरी नंदन पति गजानन ईश्वरी नंदन पति गजानन ईश्वरी नंदन पति गजानन ईश्वरी नंदन पति गजानन सुंदर सुंदर विनायका सुंदर सुंदर विनायका शुभ मंगलदायक विनायका शुभ मंगलदायक विनायका विघ्न कोटि हर विमल गजानन कोटि हर विमल गजानन सकल विघ्न हर पाहि गजानन सकल विघ्न हर पाहि गजानन ईश्वरी नंदन पति गजानन ईश्वरी नंदन पति गजानन ईश्वरी नंदन पति गजानन ईश्वरी नंदन पति गजानन जय जय गणेश जय श्री गणेश गणेश जय श्री गणेश जय जय गणेश जय श्री गणेश जय गणेश जय श्री गणेश जय जय गणेश जय श्री गणेश जय मा जगदीश्वरी साई जय जगदीश्वरी साई जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी साईश्वरी साई जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी साईश्वरी साई जय जगदीश्वरी साई जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी साईश्वरी साई जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी साईश्वरी साई जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी साईश्वरी साई जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी साईश्वरी साई जय जय जगदीश्वरी साई जगदीश्वरी साई जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी साईश्वरी साई जय मां जय मां जगदीश्वरी साई जय मां जगदीश्वरी साई जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी साईश्वरी साई जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी साईश्वरी साई जगदीश्वरी महेश्वरी साईश्वरी साई जय मां जय मां जगदीश्वरी साई
दत्तात्रेया सद्गुरुदेवा देहि तव श्रीपादसेवा
साई मेरा तुम हो सहारा, साई मेरा तुम हो सहारा, साई मेरा तुम हो सहारा, तुम हो सहारा, शिरडी अवतारा, साई पट्टीपुरी भगवान। दीनों के तुम प्राण सखा प्रभु, प्राण सखा मेरे साई राम, मेरे साई राम, मेरे साई राम, मेरे साई राम, बाबा पट्टीपुरी भगवान। मेरे साई राम, पट्टीपुरी भगवान। मेरे साई राम, बाबा पट्टीपुरी भगवान। मेरे साई राम, बाबा पट्टीपुरी भगवान। साई मेरा तुम हो सहारा।
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our salutations at the feet of Sadguru, respected elders, devotees from around the world, staff and students, Sai Ram and welcome to Satya Darpan. To briefly summarize yesterday's session, Sadguru reminded us that the word yoga is derived from the root word yuj, which means to yoke or unite. It symbolizes the union of Jivatma, the individual self, or the Paramatma, the Supreme Self. While explaining the significance of breaking a coconut in our culture, Sadguru said that this ritual reminds us to break free from our body consciousness and to let the divine consciousness flow. He spoke about the three bodies, Stula, Sukshma and Karana, or physical, subtle and causal, and how through meditation one can rise from being conscious Bhutakasha to conscience, Chittakasha, and ultimately Chidakasha, or the pure consciousness. While explaining the third shloka of the fourth chapter, Sadguru emphasized that the ultimate goal is to realize the transient nature of life and experiences, treating them as a part of divine play or leela, rather not getting attached to them. A jnani engages fully in life, yet remains unattached and unaffected by the world. We now invite Dr. B.N. Narasimurthy sir to address all of us.
Most beloved Sadguru, brothers and sisters, very dear students, boys and girls. In the first three shlokas of the fourth chapter of the Ashtavakra Gita, we see the complete clarity of King Janaka on what he had attained, the preciousness of what he had attained, and also how it was going to affect his life. He had become a Jivan Mukta by attaining self-knowledge. He knew how precious it was. He knew how matchless it was. In his own words, Yatpadam prepsave deenaha shakradgyaha sarvadevataha. For attaining this self-knowledge, all the angels or the devatas, they very humbly pray for human birth. They look forward to self-knowledge, for attaining which even Indra, Devendra, the king of the devatas, he also is looking forward to it. He is yearning for it. He is pining for it. And even the devatas want to have a human birth, because only by being human beings we can attain self-knowledge, we can attain God realization, we can attain this highest spiritual wisdom which liberates us from all sorrows once for all. And he knew that he had attained such a state. He had attained that great wealth of the highest spiritual experience. He knows about it. After having attained it, is he going to give up his kingdom? Is he going to retire into a forest? Is he going to give up living in the palace? He was very sure, no, he was not going to give up. That is why a Zen master, when he was asked, what were you doing before self-realization? He said, I was cutting wood, drawing water, and cooking food. What are you now doing after attaining self-knowledge? He said, I am cutting wood, I am drawing water, and I am cooking food. So no change in the external life. Same thing Janaka would have said. Before self-knowledge, attained self-knowledge, I was a king, I lived in a palace. After attaining self-knowledge, I am going to continue as a king. And I am going to continue to live in the palace. He was absolutely sure. See, many times it happens. Yesterday, Sadhguru was very kindly and compassionately advising the spiritual aspirants. 3 things you should not do just because you involve in some spiritual practices. There are 3 things you should not do. Number 1, don't make haste. Because if you make haste on the spiritual path, that itself will become an obstacle to attain the highest wisdom. And secondly, don't brag about your attainments. Just because you experienced something in your meditation, don't talk about it, don't brag about it. And thirdly, don't compare yourself with others. Why did he progress fast? How do you know that he has progressed? By looking at a person externally, you're not going to make out. Therefore, here, Janaka knows the truth and he says, it is not going to make any change in my external life. But internally, it is going to make a huge difference. The kingdom is not going to be a burden anymore. My duties as a king are not going to bother me anymore. I will live in the palace, but it is not going to affect me in any way. He knew absolutely, it was so clear. Therefore, between a jnani and ajnani, see, they may be doing the same thing. See, that is one big danger of our misunderstanding our mentors or our gurus on the spiritual path. Because they look like us only. Ordinarily, they look very ordinary as human beings. But if you think, I am also looking like that, therefore I am also, no. There is a huge difference in the inside, but definitely not outside. It is not going to affect him. Atmajnasya dhirasya kelataha bogalilaya. The jnani has realized that this life is nothing but a game. He plays it. Joyfully he plays. Kelataha bogalilaya. He knows that this life is a dream. He has realized that it is a dream. And therefore he is not affected. He is completely equanimous under all circumstances. So it makes only the external difference, no difference in the external life. Internally, it makes difference. Suppose, now there are so many aspirants. All of you are aspirants. About students, many of them are aspirants. But all others are aspirants. Otherwise, you would not come and sit here. Why would you sit here? And you don't find such sincere a conglomeration or a congregation of such sincere aspirants in such large numbers. You don't find anywhere actually. This is something very, very wonderful, amazing, which Sadhguru has done. All of us have become spiritual aspirants, not because we wanted to become spiritual aspirants. We want to please Sadhguru. That's why we have become spiritual aspirants. Many of us did not know anything about spirituality before we came to Sadhguru. Because he has spoken to us so many number of times, it has got into us and we have become spiritual aspirants. Suppose any of you attain self-knowledge. You may be a teacher. You may be an accountant. You may be a cook in the kitchen. You may be a surgeon operating upon patients. Is there going to be any change externally just because a teacher has become a jnani? Is he going to change his lifestyle? Is he going to grow? Now I have become like a sage. Therefore, let me have a long beard and long hair. No. You're not going to change your dress also. You will continue to teach. But you will do it most competently because you are not attached. And most important thing is, a jnani is not, he knows that he is not the kartru or bhoktru. I am not doing anything. I am not enjoying anything. That kartrutva bhavana, the sense of doership is gone from a jnani. His life becomes real joy. A flow like it river, the life flows like a river. Otherwise, there is no difference. This is what yesterday Sadhguru taught us in the first 3 shlokas. Now I pray to Sadhguru for continuing with the teaching of the 4th chapter of the Ashtavakra Gita. Thank you very much. Sai Ram to you.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Once the Jnani realizes, as Narasimhamurthy said, that he is the self and not the mind and the body that is superimposed on the self, such a Jnani is freed from the idea of doership and enjoyership of things. Such a Jnani can engage in as much activity as needed, as destined, as divinely ordained, yet not feel the efforts and the burden in it. Works hard, but does not feel the burden of the hard work. Which means mentally he does not carry the burden of things. He is detached, does as is needed and then drops it away. Like the space does not carry the burden of the planets and the stars and the moon and the sun and the universes. Like the mirror does not carry the burden of the images that it reflects. Like the screen does not carry the burden of all the projections that it is projecting. Likewise, a Jnani does not carry the burden of the samsara. That's why samsara vahika is a word used. Ajnanis are those who carry the burden of samsara. Oh, I have to look after this, I have to do this, I have to achieve that. If I don't achieve, then they are under pressure and anxiety. If they achieve, they are exhilarated and excited. Both are burdens on the self. Why? In a way, these are not the nature of the self. Whenever we deviate from our original nature, we are restless. Like if you boil milk, Bhagavan used to give this example. If you boil milk on a stove, it starts swelling up. And after some time, it's about to fall out of the vessel. But at that point in time, you just add a few drops of water on it, to it, and it immediately settles down again. So he used to explain that what happened is because of the heat, water got evaporated from the milk, so the milk became restless. Once you add a few drops of water into the milk, it again finds its restful state because it has attained the original state. So Jnani is always in the original state. And so whenever there is a change from the original state only, there is an experience of pain or pleasure. The Jnani does not allow himself to budge from that original state of peace and equanimity. So does not feel the burden of things. Why? Because he is established in the self and not associating with the body and mind. This is the principle. That is why we told practice this. First focus on the body, then from body to come into the space of the mind. See your thoughts, observe your thoughts, and from there slowly come to the state of being, which is just observing. It is not doing anything, it is not thinking anything. It is just being, it is just an observer. Come to that state, and that meditation if you do every day, at some point in time slowly, you will be able to get a hang of it. And then even in very difficult situations, when you just can't bring yourself to come to the original state of peace, you will know how to quickly withdraw, take a minute off, and then be able to steady yourself. A journalist who came, he was asking, we are all very busy people. How do we practice such spiritual austerities? Because our life is moving from one month to another, one target to another target, one thing to another thing. We hardly have any time for such things. Well, time is the same time is given to everybody. In 24 hours only, Jnani also does what he does. Ajnani also does what he does. It depends on what you prioritize in life, what truly matters. But then I told him that if you can't sit for long hours, at least do this 1 minute meditation. Of every hour of your work in the day, take a minute off. It means work 59 minutes and 1 minute you take off. And in that 1 minute, try to do this meditation. Try to bring yourself to that steady state of peace and equanimity, away from the vagaries of the mind and the actions of the body. Take that 1 minute. Now in many schools also, it seems, even in our schools, there is water bell. So every hour they will ring a bell and the children should drink water, because many children don't drink enough water. This has also become a corporate culture now. The people would put alarms, water bell alarms. So the bell rings, they will drink water. Because otherwise they're lost in the work so much they don't even realize when to stop. It's like we have lunch bells also. That bell rings, we know now this is lunch time, this is the snacks time, this is dinner time. Mind needs reminders. Unfortunately, mind is such a thing which gets quickly absorbed in many things, gets very influenced, gets very engaged, and does not realize the discipline that it needs to maintain. So therefore, some bit of discipline is brought to the mind through these activities. So I told them, why don't you put an alarm, meditation alarm on your phone? So after 1 hour of continuous thinking, working, and engaging with all kinds of activities, then the bell rings and then you take a minute off and steady yourself, bring yourself to the original state of steadiness. And once you have steadied yourself, again continue with your works. In all these car racing, you see, there are pit stops. After every round or 2 rounds, they will stop. Formula 1 racing. And then immediately tires are changed, the car is overhauled, the driver also gets a moment's rest, drinks a little water, and then again continues for the next round. So we all need this little pause, both in body and mind, every now and then, in order to steady ourselves, stabilize ourselves, come to that state of peace and equanimity, and then continue what we are doing. Once somebody becomes a perfect master of his body and mind, he may not need as many pit stops as a newcomer. He may not need as many meditation bells as a newcomer. He may continue to, his body and mind also will go through whatever the motions of the world, but he's not so easily dragged into it or sucked into it or pulled into it. He's able to maintain some steadiness. Yet, take any Jnanis, Adi Shankaracharya you take. Even though he talked about Advaita, he still did his rituals, still did his prayers, he still did his worship. Not because you needed it, it's because One, you have to set example for others, because the others also will mistake that Jnani is not doing anything, why should I do? So he has to show some example. It is said, Yasya Yasya Kritarthasya Lakshanani Tasya Tasya Sadhakasya Sadhanani. Whatever are the qualities of the redeemed one, the Jnani, the realized one, the seekers must follow those. Whatever he does, seekers must follow. Like learning art, you watch the master at work and you learn by observing the master. Like that, whatever the masters do, the disciples have to simply follow. And that is the only way to learn this Vidya faster. So in the company of Jnani, it is faster, because you can practically see how does he do, what he does, what is his attitude, how he maintains his steadiness or equanimity, how much he engages, how much he withdraws. You observe the master, you will be able to assess your progress very quickly and understand. That's why follow the master, face the devil, fight till the end and finish the game. Bhagavan used to say that. Follow the master. It means what master is doing, observe that and try to imitate that, because once we pretend, we tend and we end. That also Bhagavan used to say. Pretend like what your master does, you try to pretend to do like him. Slowly you will tend to do like him, and at the end you will be like him. So that is the idea, that Jnanis are required in the world, because the way they conduct themselves, other people get inspired and follow them. And they also know what are the pit stops and pitfalls also on this path. So you also can observe their lives and learn and compare. That way you compare and see whether you are able to come back to the original state very quickly or not. So that is the measure of your spiritual growth. So such a Jnani who does not enjoy or does not do anything is not affected by the sins and merits of things. Because whatever has been destined, he does as a part of his duty. He doesn't do it because he wants to do it, or he does not avoid it because he wants to avoid it. There is nothing like wanting to or not wanting to. He just goes with the flow. As it is destined, he continues to do his part and does not really complain about anything, because he accepts both situations with steadiness and equanimity. Therefore, punya papa do not affect him like the smoke does not affect the space. It appears that the snake has been dirtied by the smoke from the fire, but actually the space has not become dirty. Likewise, the Jnani's self has never become dirty, even though activities of the world happen by him, through him, around him, he remains unaffected. So with that we go to the next sloka, which is on page number 245. This is also a beautiful sloka. It again now talks about the nature of the Jnani. How does the Jnani work in the world? He says, Atmai Vedam Jagat Sarvam Gyatam Yena Mahatmana Yadrichaya Vartamanam Tam Nishedhum Shamate Kaha. Which means Atmai Vedam, the one who knows the self. And Jagat Sarvam, the entire world also he knows. How? He knows the whole world also as just the projection of the self only. It's not different from the self. The entire world is the self, modified into many things, many ways. Gyatam yen Mahatmana, the great soul who realizes this. What happens then? Yadrichaya Vartamanam Tam. He behaves as per his will, Yadrichaya, or he behaves as per the divine will, you can think, because his will is not different from the divine will. So he behaves as per the divine will in the present, Vartamanam. Nishedhum Kshamet Kaha. Who can go and tell him what you should do and what you should not do to such a person? Who can guide him, who can tell him, who can instruct him what to do and what not to do? So such a person is free, beyond the controls and binds of all other people, all instructions, all injunctions, all rules and regulations, because he is simply following his will, which is nothing but the divine will, because he has no mind, no ego of his own. So his life is simply the expression of the divine will. Why we are born to express divine through us. All we have to do is not obstruct the flow of divine because of our limited understanding of things, our ego or attachments. That is the idea. The Jnani sees everything as the self. The world also as self. Though in our Advaita we use this shloka quite often, it is misunderstood also terribly. When it says Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. It says that Brahman or the self alone is real, and Jagat, the world, is unreal, it is said. But the Jivatma, the individual consciousness, is The same as Paramatma, the divine consciousness. Like the bulb has some electricity of its own for this moment, but it is a part of the whole of the electricity that is flowing through all the wires and the circuits. So bulb does not really own that part of electricity for itself. It is just a flow of electrons, and what electrons are there in one bulb now would move on to the next one and to the next one. So nobody owns anything here, it moves. Can we say we own some air because we breathe in? No, the next moment we have to breathe out. If we keep breathing and not breathing out, then we will die. So the whole air has to keep moving. It never stays with anybody. It doesn't belong to anyone. Everybody uses it, but it does not belong to anyone. Like that, Jivatma appears to be different. We all appear as different consciousness. But at the end of it, we are the part of the same consciousness. We are not different from others. He knows this. He sees that presence of consciousness even in the inanimate things. He feels the presence of divinity even in the so-called inanimate things, the chara, achara, in everything. That is what Ishavasya Upanishad starts with that shloka. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kinchat jagatyam jagat. All that you see which is moving and not moving, animate, inanimate, everything is permeated by Isha. Isha is the Lord, the divine, the Supreme Self. That permeates everything. And now science also corroborates that. It says that this whole matter thing is an illusion. It's all energy at the end of it. Energy turns into matter, matter turns back into energy. That is the principle of matter and energy. So energy is the fundamental basis which never gets destroyed. It only changes forms. So one who sees the energy in the matter does not really get entangled with the shapes and sizes of things because he focuses on the energy part of it. Like a housewife is there. She needs to cook. Now whether she gets to cook using the fire from a firewood or from a cow dung cake or from a gas stove or from an electric oven, that is not important to her. Her focus is on the food should be cooked and people should be able to eat. So she is saying, what energy can I get out of various sources so that I can cook my food? How can I make fire out of whatever is with me so that I can cook my food? That's all is her concern. If firewood is available, so she'll cook with that. If it's not, then cow dung cakes. If not, then gas stove, if not, electricity, whatever is available. Her focus is on the cooking of food. Likewise, the Jnani's focus is on the self, which is in all the things. He is not worried about all these differences in the external side. So when Shankaracharya says Brahma Satyam, the self alone is real because it is unchangeable, it is imperishable, whereas Jagat which is changing is unreal, he only means Jagat is a modification of the self. Like jewels are the modification of the gold with which they are made. Gold is real. Jewels are unreal. But are jewels really unreal? No, they are also real because you can hold it, you can wear it. They are real to the extent of being made of gold. If gold is not there, there is no jewelry. That is why jewelry is unreal, he is saying. It means we cannot exist without the existence of the self. If somebody denies God, Shankaracharya says he is like a person who is using his own tongue to say that I don't have a tongue. That is not possible. Your very existence is the proof that God exists. You don't need another proof. That is what Adi Shankaracharya argues. Likewise, this Jnani sees the self in everything. And because he sees the self in everything, whatever is happening around him, he is okay with it. And whatever is the divine will, whatever the divine inspiration that comes to such a Jnani, the Jnani fearlessly follows that. Nobody can tell him you should do this and you should not do this based on their own worldly understanding. He is inspired from within. So he knows what he is doing, he knows what is right, and he goes about doing what is needed. He will never budge from that path because he has no agenda. When do we get confused? When do we get scared? When do we get anxious? When we have the doership or enjoyership on it. When we think we are the doer, then we worry, whether I will succeed or I will fail. And when we want to enjoy the outcomes of whatever we do, then again we become anxious, whether there will be a positive outcome or a negative outcome. So doership and enjoyership is the reason why we keep changing our ideas, our stance, our even convictions keep changing. Because we worry, like the father and the son, they were going to the market and there was this donkey with which they are going. Then somebody initially, let us say the father was sitting on the donkey and the son was walking. And somebody looked around and said, hey father, how bad it is that you are a grown-up man, you are riding the donkey, your young son is walking. You should have put your son and you could have been walking. So father felt ashamed and he put his son on the donkey and he started walking. After some time somebody said, "Oh son, how foolish it is. You are a young man, you should walk, your father should rest, your father should be on the donkey, you should be down." Then somebody said, the father said, "Okay, let's do that. I will ride the donkey." Then somebody said, "Both of you could have been riding the donkey. You are fools, you both are. Why should one walk? Why should one sit? Both can ride the donkey." So both of them climbed the donkey and started riding it. After some time, some more people and said, "How cruel this father and son are. Poor donkey is carrying the weight of both." So they came down from the donkey and they started carrying the donkey instead. The idea is that they are not having any stand, they don't have a spine, they don't have a conviction in life. Why? Because they listen to everybody. They don't have an understanding or a perspective of their own. They keep changing their perspective, as people say. The idea is that a jnani knows what he's doing, why is he doing, and where it's coming from. His ideas are coming from the source of intuition, the divinity, not from the intelligence or instinct. As I said, 3 levels of eyes are there. Eye at the instinctive level. Animals are driven by instincts. They have very strong instinct, very little intelligence, and I'm not sure they have intuition at all, but instincts are there. They're made like that by nature. Hunger is their instinct. They know what to eat, what not to eat. Nobody taught them. Even the baby which is born to an animal, it quickly learns what it needs to learn. It has instincts. It walks. Nobody needs to teach how to walk. It eats whatever it needs to eat. It drinks the milk or whatever is needed to be done. It does its own thing. It quickly learns. It hardly takes any time. Similarly, they have a season. They mate at that time. They bring progeny, offsprings. And then when seasons are over, they part and they continue their life. So they are driven by instinct. That's why Adi Shankara says, "Ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha samanyam etat pashubir naranam." This commonality between animals and humans is these 4 things. Ahara, food, which is hunger, instinct of hunger. Nidra, sleep, which is again instinct for resting. Bhaya, fear, instinct for survival. And maituna, reproduction, instinct for procreation. These are common between humans and animals. There is nothing special if some human being is just doing this. Yeah, you can say, "I'm eating 5-star cuisine made by some star chef and in a sophisticated dining room," but you are still running behind the basic instinct of food only. Nidra, resting. You might sleep in palaces, in comfortable beds, and you may have air-conditioned rooms, but they are basically fulfilling the basic instinct of sleep. Similarly, fear of the future or fear of survival, bhaya. We all have that instinct. Why are we storing up so much of money endlessly, recklessly, thoughtlessly, mindlessly? Why? Because we all are scared. Tomorrow what happens, we don't know. We need to have money to survive. We need to have people around us to survive. We need to make ourselves into castes and communities to survive just in case we are attacked by somebody else. So all these divides start out of fear only, fear of survival. That is bhaya. So you may do it very, sophisticatedly as the prime minister or president of a country who has a huge army, or a king who has a huge battalion. But you are basically catering to the lower instinct of fear of survival, which animals also have. They also have nails and teeth and whatever skills with which they protect themselves and kill their enemies. So they're same thing. This is no difference. And maithuna, to be desirous of seeing your own offsprings and progeny. That's a desire. That's there in animal also. That's there in humans also. Your children may be born in some 5-star birthing suites in some Bangalore-like places, and their children may be born under a tree. But at the end of it, it is the same thing. You are fulfilling the same lower instinct of maithuna. So there is no big difference, Adi Shankara says. What makes a difference to you? He says, dharmo hi tesham adhiko visheshaha. That sense of purpose is the differentiating factor between humans and animals. Animals will just live by these instincts. And they don't care whether there is any higher purpose to their lives and they have to achieve anything greater than all this fulfillment of basic desires. They are not interested. See, this bird is there. Is she interested in my Ashtavakra Gita? That fellow, he and this is the wife, the husband and his wife. They're troubling us every day. They want to make a nest. It's time, I think, for their season has come. So they want to make a nest somewhere. All the time they're coming and plucking these flowers and They're not interested in my Ashtavakra Gita, they're not interested in World Cultural Festival, they're not interested in anything. They're interested in the flowers and those things that they can pluck and make a nest out of it. Look at them, they're fearless, reckless actually. Sitting here, they're coming and going, no care. That is what I'm saying. If some of us in the hall also are behaving like that only, I'm here for a job and employment, I'm here for my education, I'm here for my degree, you are also like those birds only. You're not interested in my teaching. So animals are like that. They're made like that. They live by instincts. You can't complain. Why are you behaving like that? That is how they'll behave. And there is nothing wrong. They don't incur sin or merit because of that. When a lion kills a pregnant deer to feed its babies, it's not incurring any sin. As onlooker may think, oh, poor lion, poor deer, how bad it is. But what will lion eat if he starts forgiving all the deer? So also, somebody else, kills somebody else. A frog eats, a snake eats a frog. A pregnant snake eats a pregnant frog. Now, who is the sinner, who is the saint? A pregnant frog eats a pregnant insect. Who is the sinner, who is the saint? Well, they go by instinct, so they are forgiven. They are forgiven because they are not going by any. So instinct-wise, animals are forgiven, but instinct-wise, humans are not forgiven. Because humans have been given higher faculty of discrimination, intelligence, and intuition. Now, intelligence is the next step which humans apply. Even animals have some level of intelligence. But human intelligence is far beyond. We see, dolphins are extremely intelligent creatures, we say. Elephants are very intelligent. So they remember things, they can be trained. Dogs can be trained too. Beyond their instincts, they can be trained into doing things which is not their natural animal way of doing things. They can learn. That's why they are captured and trained in circus and made to do all kinds of tricks. Because they have some intelligence that they can utilize if that intelligence is used by a trainer to train them. They can learn things, new tricks. Likewise, animals have intelligence, but humans also have intelligence. Humans have far developed intelligence than animals. And they can learn such amazing things, music, art, philosophy, science, technology. Name it. How humans have changed the entire world. In the last few millennia, from hunting, gathering, to today living such sophisticated lives. Now artificial intelligence, and next what I do not know, they want to put a chip inside the brains of people and download the data and transfer it to another body. Something and all they are trying. And you never know. All this may happen because what we thought would not happen. I am told that, I think it is the British College of Scientists or something, a Royal College, which decided in 1930s that all the inventions that are possible in the world have already happened. They declared that there is no more discoveries and inventions which are possible. We have discovered and invented everything that humanly is possible. Imagine, this is 1930s. Since then, where we have reached. They didn't even have an idea of what they were talking at that point in time. Likewise it is. We are continuously evolving because of our intelligence. So many things we are doing on the outside. It is given to human beings. They are the most intelligent. They are the epitome of the creation, the crest jewel of creation. That's why everybody craves for a human birth. But then, is that the whole potential of humans? No, they have one more level of supreme intuition, which is nothing but the spark of the divine. When they are absolutely selfless, when they have no agenda, no ulterior motive, then this intuition starts working. When they have any idea of doership and enjoyership, they are restricted till the level of intelligence only. They can be superbly intelligent at best. Some are less intelligent, some are more intelligent, but they'll still be operating from the realm of intelligence only, because they have ego, they have selfishness, they have doership and enjoyership. A jnani who goes beyond selfishness, does work selflessly, does not believe that he is the doer, he thinks divine is the doer, and does not claim the fruits of all the actions. He believes that is also what it needs to come as per the action. Naturally, if you sow a seed, lemon tree, lemons will come. You sow an apple tree, apple will come. So he knows apple is a natural output of sowing an apple seed. Likewise, whatever I do, I will experience as per the part of the law of action and reaction. I do not have to worry about it. I do not have to overtly think about it. So Jnani just does things as it comes to him. But he operates from a higher seat of intuition, not even by intelligence, not even by instinct. That's why I tell all our people, see, if you have already reached that state of intuition, I have no problem. No two people can think differently. Everybody will think alike. Suppose there is a committee, they all need to come together and decide on a certain matter. If there are 10 people in the committee and all of them are operating from intuition, they all will get the same answer. They cannot be 3 people getting one answer, 5 people getting another answer. Then you say we will go with majority, but majority may be wrong. 100 Kauravas were wrong, 5 Pandavas were right. That is why I say to do anything in life, you must be a Jnani, especially when you are running organizations, you have to operate from the seat of intuition. Intelligence should follow intuition. Intuition tells you this is need to be done. Intelligence will find out how it needs to be done. What needs to be done will be told by the intuition. How it needs to be done, intelligence will do. And the instincts, whatever you have, means the skills that you have developed, natural skills, that will come in the way. It will get done. So the original idea comes from the intuition. That's why I say, if you cannot operate from the seat of intuition, what you can do, before starting to make a decision, you come together and pray. Pray that let my mind not interfere with the divine. Let my ego and attachment not come in the way of the divine will. Let me become an empty instrument of God. And let God flow through me. Let God's will flow through me. Let me express God through me. At least by surrendering your ego before making a decision, you are still safe. Why? Because God will perhaps have mercy on you, and pleased by your sincerity of surrender, might take over and do what is needed through you. So you may still do the right things. You may not do the wrong things. But the moment ego and attachment comes in, you definitely are contaminating that divine flow. You're obstructing it or even polluting it. That is why a lot of people make mistakes. Mistakes happen when we forget God. When we remember God, we don't make mistakes. Because God then protects us from our ego, our intelligence. We don't need protection from outside enemies. We need protection from our own internal enemy. The biggest enemy is our own ego, is individuality. That's why all the sadhana is to dissolve your ego only. Aham nashaha. To destroy your ego is the entire sadhana all about. To dissolve your ego is the entire sadhana. If that does not happen and you have mugged up a lot of scriptures and you can give bombastic lectures and impress a large audience, no use if you're operating from your ego. You have to operate from intuition, which has no ego. Intelligence has ego, instinct has ego. Intuition has no ego. In fact, when things happen through intuition and they happen, both won't happen at that point in time to you. One, you will not get excited if things are succeeding. You will not get depressed if the things don't turn out to be the way they should be. Because you will simply credit everything to the divine. If things turn out, outcomes are positive, it's divine grace. If outcomes are not so positive, even it's divine will. You won't take the blame or praise both onto yourself. Therefore, you won't experience merits and sins. That is the idea. You just do the divine will. Do divine, be divine is what I say. So that is how you can be. I always say you are born a man, but you can die a god. That's possible for us. Animals don't have that opportunity. They're born an animal and they'll die an animal. But we are born a man and we can die a god. Why? Because we have merged our will with the divine will. We have surrendered it to the divine. So many people ask, is there a divine will, a free will at all? And I tell them, yes, divine has given us the free will to operate as we want. He gave us a mind and intelligence to do things as we can. But when we surrender it back to the divine takes over. Like a father gives some pocket money to the son on his birthday. Says, go, this is your birthday gift, go buy whatever you want in the market. The son goes around and figures it out that he is not capable of making decisions of what is the price of which good. He is not experienced. And people may cheat him. So he comes back to the father, gives the money back to the father and says, Father, I think you know best what is good for me and when to buy, where to buy. So I give it back to you, all the money. Please, you only buy for me. See, the money was father's in the first place. It was only in the son's hand for a moment. But son could have squandered it away doing whatever he wanted as per his ego. But if the son surrenders his ego, goes and gives back the money to the father and says, you do what is right, he has saved himself from making a lot of mistakes. And also the ego of doing so-called successful things. Both have been saved. He won't enjoy the success that will come out of his decision making. At the same time, he will also not suffer the failures that may come out of his decision making. Now, we want the success part of it, we don't want the failure part of it. That is not allowed. Either surrender both or surrender none. So when you surrender both to the divine will take over and exactly guide you what to do, what not to do. When I was in Assisi, I was talking to a sister. She was an 80-year-old nun as part of the Franciscan order, the women's order, they call it the Santa Chiara. So they're follower of that. So when I told her, sister, you must come to India, she simply replied, I don't go, I follow. One sentence. I don't go, I follow. If Jesus demands, if Jesus decides, if Jesus guides, I follow. I don't decide to go here or not go there. That's not what I do. I simply follow the divine decree. That sense of surrender should be there. Not like, oh, thank you for inviting, I'm coming. Not like that. I follow. If that is how divinely I'll get inspired to do, I will do it. This is something that I have learned the hard way. Let me tell you, a hard way, not easy way. Because when I came initially here, I was full of ideas. I had a lot of intelligence, I had a lot of abilities, and I had my own experience of how to run an organization and do things and not do things. And a lot of things had to happen here because people here were not aware of many of these things. There was no exposure. So when I used to tell them, they used to understand. Can you believe I came here and straight away I saw a charity organization should have some quality certifications. So I call up some ISO 9000 people to come here and give a lecture and develop ISO standards in our trust. And then I called all the people, I rounded them all up in a room, all these elders, and I called the expert and he was giving lecture on ISO standards. And half of them were sleeping because they couldn't understand what was going on. What is this ISO? What is this standard? Why should we have this standard? What are these parameters? I was so eager and keen, I got that expert to speak to the people, but here nobody was interested. What ISO, what standard? We are happy as we are. Then I realized, oh, this is not possible because they don't have exposure to it. They have not done banking before me. They have not come from an organization which is standard-based organizations. Then slowly we have to develop. So a lot of ideas I used to bring, but nothing used to work. Then I realized it won't work because it's all inspired by my intelligence only. It's not inspired by intuition. Intuition will tell me this is not the right time. A right time will come. Now we are implementing all these standards. That time it was not the time. But my intelligence got the better of my intuition and the heads got the better of my heart. And then I started telling we have to do things like we do. And nobody could get what I was trying to tell. But later I realized, I used to get disappointed, but later I realized that it was not meant to be. Because the intuition or the divine guidance had not come for that. Then when divine guidance came, things happened, for sure. And similarly we have seen, I was telling the other day also, there are hundreds of things we have done in the last 12, 15 years. But we have succeeded in most of it and not succeeded in some of it. It's not all success everywhere. When we did not succeed, I used to become very upset and disturbed. Why are we not succeeding? We are trying to do that. And slowly, steadily, as I matured, I realized that now somewhere, either mine or somebody else's intelligence or ego had got involved. And that's where the projects or whatever we were trying to do stalled. And it was a divine mechanism actually. And I am grateful to God because He stopped all those things where there was a contamination of ego and intelligence. All those things stopped. Then I said, God, I'm learning how you want us to operate. And then slowly, steadily, we learnt our way, learned the ropes, and finally came to conclusion that yes, unless it is an inspired thought, don't even attempt. Because pressure comes. See, I'm sitting here, 100 people will come and give me 100 ideas. And all seem to be valid. They all seem to be very progressive. They all seem to be the need of the hour. People come from around the world and they tell, great experts come, great leaders come, they tell, Swamiji, you should do like that and this should not be done, that should be done. They keep telling me. I listen to them. Because I must listen to them. They are trying to do it in the best of our interests. But then something inside me has to click, as they say. Something inside me has to resonate with that. Not my intelligence. Intelligence tells these are fantastic ideas, we must implement at once like that. But deep inside there is some disconnection, which makes me feel, yes, it's a great idea, but I don't feel something about it. I don't feel fully convinced about it. There is something inside me which is not yet approving of it. So without that divine approval from within, I do not attempt at all. Because whenever under pressure we have acted, not because of ego or intelligence, but simply because the pressure of somebody who was so very important and necessary for whatever we are doing, that it was a pressure to oblige them. Not out of our ego or intelligence, out of the need of the institution or whatever. And whenever we undertook that, whatever initiative or guidance that was given to us as an obligation, it never succeeded. So God knows, you can't fool God. You can fool yourself, you can fool 10 others with all your paraphernalia and presumptions. God does not like pretensions, does not like dishonesty, does not like untruth. You rather be a thief and go and tell God, I am a thief, than being a thief and telling God, I am a saint. Be yourself, be true. Somebody asked me the other day, I told, just be yourself. Whoever you are, as you are, if you are honest to me, you will still be dear to me. You will still be somebody who would be close. But if you act like somebody else, then you will never win God's grace. You can't fool God, right? You can't fool God. He is in you. He is you. You can't fool yourself. You can't lie to yourself. So that is what it is. This Jnani lives a free life because he is not under any pressure. Nobody can tell him this is right, this is not right, this is what you should, this is what you should not do. Why? Because he is inspired by the divinity within. And that is the reason why so many sweeping decisions were made, especially during COVID. Now, for the benefit of the children and the teachers, of course we have spoken about it. When I was watching that we were supposed to be a spiritual organization, we were supposed to teach spirituality to our students. Yes, subjects will be taught, degrees will be given. But that was not the original idea. Why are we not following that? It means our thought, word and actions are not matching. We are lying to ourselves. We were under pressure of the fees that being collected from the parents. And they wanted us to give high quality, competitive education to the children so that they can crack all these exams and get into very high, good quality colleges in India, medical, engineering and so on and so forth. And that is the reason somewhere we were obligated. We were not following the true vision of Narayan Bhatt. And that was eating into my soul. And I always felt that, but I did not have the voice then to say it out so loud and clear, nor I had the authority to implement it. But it was always gnawing at my heart that we are not exactly doing what Narayan Bhatt had set out to do. We call ourselves his disciple who wanted to build a missionary organization. Where are the missionaries? And the first few batches of students who studied here, we gave them same love, affection. None of them stayed. Very few. All of them left because they wanted to get into medical engineering, other courses, IAS and IPS and so on and so forth. They never stayed. I said, where are the missionaries? When Bhagwan Baba said, my students will change the world, where are those students? So that used to keep bothering me all the time. But time was not right. See, if I used intelligence, it would have failed any which ways. We waited. And then sometime in 2020, this feeling became very strong that no, this has to change. Now it came with obvious risks of being called out for not doing the right thing in terms of giving very high quality education. Some people even said, don't waste students' time in teaching Bhagavad Gita and things like that. Don't focus on the studies. Here students used to study morning till night. Between prayer, before prayer, after prayer, they're always studying. And at some point in time, the punishment was that you'll have to write Likita Nama Japam, Sai Ram, Om Shri Sai Ram. And the reward was you can skip Suprabhatam for your behavior and good marks. I said it should be the other way around. If you are doing good, then you should be given time to meditate, pray and do some spiritual things. And if you are actually not doing well, then we should be asking you to attend prayers and things like that. This is not the way we should think, but this is how it was taught. And that is how it was. It went on and on for many years. And I saw through this whole whatever the farce of it. So in 2020, in a discussion with all the heads of the institutions, we told we must change now. It's 50 years, we have been doing the thing which Narayan Bhatt never envisaged. His vision was totally different. Those who are interested, read these books. A Missionary with a Vision is there. Praying Hearts, Serving Hands are there. Read those books. He's very clear in what he wanted to do. Obviously, he didn't have enough life left, so he just did so much, and after that he could not. After that, the institutions become run-of-the-mill institutions, taking fee, bringing education, giving high-quality training, heavy coaching, and children are getting selected in all kinds of competitive exams and getting seats in high-end institutions. And parents are very happy, newspapers are happy, we are very popular. But we are not doing what is right. That was bugging me. And the nail in the coffin was one student from our Mandya campus scored 625 out of 625. And instead of rejoicing and, if any other institution was there, they would have gone to the media, newspaper, put him on the press, which anyway media people did that. But I asked the Pradhan of that Palaka of the institution, chairman of the institution, how is this boy, how is his other ways, behavior and other things and all this? He's a very good boy, very sincere. And he promised that he wants to stay in the mission, study further his PUC here and continue and things like that. I said that would be a great combination, that he has earned such good marks and also being interested in the spirituality of the mission. But the moment that time we changed over to NIOS, this boy never joined us. Then I questioned the chairperson. You said he is also this way, then he should have been convinced about what we are changing and doing. But he wanted to be state syllabus, again get some higher marks in PUC, probably get into IS, some desires he had. Then I told, see, this is what I am saying. Students are saying one thing, doing another thing, because we are saying one thing and doing another thing. We are saying you will be a Tyagajivi missionary, a great servant of the society, but we are not giving the inputs. We are encouraging you not to be one. And students are also seeing through this farce and hypocrisy. They are saying, yes, we will be the instruments of the divine, but they don't mean it. They just are making us hear what we want to hear. And we are also saying what they want to hear. Where is the honesty in this whole thing? And that time we decided we will move over from all these state syllabuses, because that is the reason why parents are sending their children here. And these parents are rich parents and they pay the fee. In fact, when we removed the fees and brought NIOS, some parents wrote saying that, please take the fee but continue the CBSE education. Where will we take our children and go? How can you do this to us? They were very unhappy. Comments were coming like that. And Narasimhamurthy sir, I told, please write to every parent about our vision. That's why I say we have to owe it to him, because in that high pressure environment where so many parents were going against us, he said, yes, this is the time to make the change. And now that I have taken the bull by horns, this is the time to get it done. And then we used that whole COVID time, and because during COVID no parent could come and do dharna in the institution. The crowds were not allowed. Otherwise, you have seen parents doing this. In Jaipura campus, we changed something. Oh, all the parents were there in the campus, shouting slogans against the institution. We had to call some police and get some elderly of the people of the place and disperse them away. The moment you change the education standards or whatever affiliations, parents were up in arms against us. When I told first time all children should be in the hostel, nobody should come from home, because we are Gurukula. When we are saying Gurukulam, everybody should be inside the Gurukulam. But we are saying one thing, doing another thing. It was convenient because those parents were keeping their children outside. They never had to pay any hostel fee. Education was anyway free, only hostel was charged. So local parents were using this nicely. They were taking education, getting 2 meals a day free, not paying for the hostel. The student will go back in the evening to his home. And at home he'll watch TV, movie, magazines, things like that, and smuggle all that into the hostels. And then ruin the others also whom we are trying to improve. This was going on. We said, no, first rule is all should be staying in the hostel. The moment we say, all the local parents were up in arms against us saying, oh, how can you do this? How can you force us to pay fee? This is all money collection mechanisms. You're becoming greedy. You want to make business out of everything. Then I told, fine, those parents who cannot pay, let them not pay the fee. We'll still take the students in the hostel. But parents didn't want to pay anything. So those poor parents, we said, need not pay. We will do an investigation. If you're really poor, you don't have to pay. The children can stay in the hostel for free. MNBS scheme we brought. But those parents who were rich also were very clever. They said, we don't have money. They'll come in the car, park it right here inside the ashram and say, we don't have the money for hostel fee. Why? Because the next fellow is not paying, why should I pay? I told, see, look through all these parents, you believe in them. You think they're all your great devotees and you think that they're all institutions' well-wishers. No, they're all selfish. They're just getting, as long as they're getting what they're getting, they'll sing our glory. Otherwise, they'll throw stones. Let us stay steady in our conviction and we will change rules. And finally, the fees was anyway removed from the hostel, because we said, if we are again Gurukula, if there was no fee, then why are we charging the fee in the hostel? Again, we are doing something, saying something. So we removed everything. Put them all in the hostel. Lot of people withdrew and went. Lot of people called us names. We didn't care. Lot of people said intelligent students won't come, your institution standards of education will go down, what the Narayan Bhatt and others have built, you are destroying everything. I listened to all the accusations, I cared none, because I knew it is coming from inside. I had no fear, no shame, no anxiety, nothing. It was very clear that this is what needs to be done, whatever it takes. That's how we changed everything. We added Paravidya. Even then, so many of our teachers were not convinced. Because they, even in the Paravidya time, they were taking regular classes or giving them time to study because there were exams or tests and things like that. I said, no, that all should have been done in the afternoon. Just to get this syllabus, or what you call, just to get the timetable implemented, it took 6 to 8 months. Several show cause notices, several reminders, several high-pitched conversations, several shouts and reprimands. Even then, our head of institutions were not aligning because they were used to that 20 years of running it in a certain way. It took a lot of effort. I made a lot of enemies inside and outside just to get what was right to in order. Because not everybody just obliged and started implementing from the day one. No. They would say they are implementing, but back in the back, they will be doing their own thing. And then somebody will report, Swamiji, they have not implemented, they are just saying to you, they are fooling you. Then I'll find out, then I will yell at them saying, why are you doing this? I've told you. You should show cause notices to them, why these changes have not been implemented. Some of them got very angry with me, saying this is how I will destroy the institution. Students will learn nothing, they'll be dumb, they'll be useless. I said, whatever it is, you implement first what we are saying. And because we were not taking money from anybody, it gave us the strength to implement these policies. Suppose we are dependent on the fees, then we had to dance to the tunes of the parents. We had to become vendors to their, and they were customers. So we had to continuously please them. But that was something that was not agreeing with the inside. So finally the ship was turned mid-sea, everything changed. Then came last 2 years back, I told all parents should come for seva. Oh, big uproar from the students and the parents. They said no. I said, why you no? You were getting everything free. We are taking care of children. They're safe and secure. They're learning. They're getting world-class exposure. Minimum you can do is, I'm not asking money, come and serve in the institution, in the hospital and wherever you can. But many parents, many students were not happy. In fact, this whole contingent went to one of the campuses here and made a huge noise and cry at the gate that you can't force this through stones and slogans and unionize themselves. Some parents did that. When the people reported, I said, don't budge. If they don't like us, take the children and let them take the children and go away. They don't want to take the children because they're getting everything free. They want to enjoy the privileges, but they don't want to take any responsibility. I said, nothing doing. Those parents who do not come for seva, they'll have to take back their children. There is no other way. We implemented with an iron hand. Today you see, yesterday you saw so many parents were sitting. They are all thankful. So many of them have changed. The parents who knew nothing about spirituality started learning. They are telling others about it. The atmosphere at home has changed. Many people have given up smoking, drinking from the villages who come because they were touched by the seva that is happening. Yes, some people withdrew their children, but good riddance. Rest of them are fallen in line. And it has changed their home, the atmosphere at home. Now the tripod of parent, teachers and student is happening. Otherwise one leg was always missing, which was the parents. They were not interested in the system. They just were interested in taking what we get from the system. So this took a lot of effort. Like those who are institution builders, those who are policy makers, decision makers, they'll understand, especially in a very emotionally invested setup like a charity. In a corporate setup, it is ruthless. Take it or leave it. My way or highway. That is very common in corporate culture. In a charity where so much of emotions are invested, and for everything they will refer back, Sai Baba would not do this, Sai Baba would not say this. That is the biggest headache. The sentence that irritates me most is this. It's all you. Sathya Sai Baba would never say this, Sathya Sai Baba would never do this. This was to irritate me like anything, but then I have to swallow and say, these people are ignorant, I cannot take it, I cannot say anything to these people, just keep quiet. Like that we dealt with all this nonsense. Finally, after long time, we are out of the woods. And today when I see the happiness and joy in parents' faces, their involvement with the institution, the children getting the right atmosphere at home, when they go home also, there is no difference between the atmosphere. They are able to go and do some seva in their own villages, like that. Even medical college started, I put very strong rules. I said, I'm not going to budge. They have to do service for 5 years. Many people say, no, this is not, that is not. I said, nothing doing, this is how it will be. They are getting free education, they will have to do service. They have to sign the bond. If they don't sign the bond, don't take the seat. I'm not asking your money. I'm not dependent on you. So I will do what is right. That gave us the strength to start a medical college with that tremendous conviction. A lot of people opposed it. A lot of people said so many things. We didn't bother. Why? It's coming from intuition. A jnani cannot be told, this is right, this is wrong, you do this, you don't do this. He doesn't listen to these people. Why? Not out of arrogance, not out of authority, out of simply the conviction that this is his intuition and this is divinely ordained. And we have succeeded. We have succeeded in everything that we employed. It took 5-6 years of lot of hard work and changes, but we succeeded at the end of it. Yes, our students may not be the IIT, JEE caliber, brilliant students, but they are good students with a good balance of head, heart and hand. And that is what the society requires. What we'll do with all those intelligent people who are so selfish? We rather have average intelligent people, but we have a good heart and enough competencies to take care of the poor and the underprivileged. I would rather have that as the combination. So we are not comparing. When people say, how are your students going to compete with IIT, JEE, USMLE? I don't care. That's not our standard. But we will bring professional standards. We will help them raise to those standards slowly, gradually. So that we push research, innovation, studies, education. And you know, second year MBBS, I told you, if you're not getting first class marks, you're not even going to the next class. I'll rather feed you for one more extra year, take care of you without any cost to you and your parents, but you rather study well. Which institution will do this, you tell me? They'll tell, hey, fees chala jayega, we'll lose the fee. Forget, people give degrees by taking money in this world. Are they not doing that? People are giving giving seats by taking money, giving degrees by taking money. In this scenario, we are saying no. You rather repeat the year if you have not understood the subject, and don't worry, no cost to you, your parents, nobody. In fact, you will be 1 year additional cost to me. You could have finished your studies 1 year early. I don't have to feed you for 1 full year and take care of you. But now, nevertheless, we want to make sure that you have learnt everything. See, this is the conviction of a jnani. This cannot be compromised. And the jnani is so clear, sharp and clear, because there is no fear. See, Varanasi did not happen. I am accepting that it was intelligence, it was more of a pressure. But when all these things are happening, I am also accepting that it is because of the intuition. There is no pressure here. Even if the Prime Minister calls and says, you should not have this kind of rules in the institution, I would not agree. I would say, Mr. Prime Minister, you don't understand fully. Get to know me fully and now know us fully, then perhaps we can have a discussion. A lot of people have said a lot of things to me, don't do this, don't do that, like that. So I did not budge. Why? Because we are right. This idea of jnani, who cannot be told, who cannot be controlled, who cannot be persuaded or dissuaded from a path. Why? Because the jnani is operating from the seat of intuition. Every thought, word and action is divinely inspired. Even if it means it is not favorable to some, not pleasing to some, does not matter. The jnani will continue. When Jesus Christ was told, oh, don't give refuge to this lady, she is a fallen lady, and everybody was throwing stones at her, what did he say? Those who have not committed a sin, let them throw the first stone. And I stand here with this lady. If you have the courage, throw a stone at her. If you haven't committed a sin in your life. And you know, he accepted Mary of Magdalene and made her a disciple. And she's the only one, those 3 Marys who stayed with him till the end. His so-called disciples and all fled for their lives. That is the idea. He did what is right. He did not think twice. He did not change his stance. When Pilatus asked him, are you the king of whatever, the Jews as you claim? No, he said, yes. My Father has sent me here. My Father in the heaven. So I am the son of the Father, right? So I am the heir of the kingdom. That's it. No discussions after that. Crucify him. Even though Pilatus knew very well in his heart what he was doing is wrong, but under the pressure of the priests, the high priests of the temple, who did not want Jesus to rise and become popular, who did not want him to question their authority, they were the ones who killed him. The king per se was not really, but he was under the pressure because he has to have the votes and of the people. So he had to please the people, the ignorant fools. And for their sake, he killed the wise one. This is why I say, raise this consciousness of the society. Otherwise, in a democracy, good people will be punished. Why? Because majority are bad. Then they'll elect bad leaders, they will make bad policies, and when good question those, good people will be punished. So for our own sake, we should create more goodness in the society and raise the standard of human consciousness in the society. That's why spirituality is important, so that people will make right decision. They won't go and cast their votes because they've got a bottle of beer or a packet of chicken biryani or some nonsense like that, or 2,000 rupees. So when the elections were happening, the maids were telling, this one is giving 2,000, that one is giving 3,000. But still people chose to go with the 2,000 because he was a better man than the 3,000 one. Can you believe that? That's how elections happen in the world. In this scenario, how do we change the society? Tell me. We need Gyanis, that's period. Gyani who is fearless, selfless and shameless, as I say. They are the only ones who are capable of making a change, because politics is prejudice. They want their votes, they want the power, they want the authority. They will tell, if I'm in authority only I can make any difference to the society. But for the sake of getting that authority, they will ruin the society. Because there are agendas, there is selfishness, there are instincts, at best intelligence. But a Gyani operates from intuition, and nobody can tell Gyani this is right, that is wrong, do this or don't do that. And he is not worried about praise or blame. He is not worried about merits and sins. He is not worried about success and failures. The one who is not worried, and life or death, the one who is not worried about these things, praise and blame, success or failure, though not worried about death and life, not worried of what people say, who can stop such a person? He is unstoppable. Unstoppable. That is what we are. So we have to be Gyanis. That's why I say to run these institutions in the future also, we need Gyanis only. We do need qualified professionals, but more importantly, we need Gyanis. These kind of Gyanis who know where they are operating from, whose decisions come from the deep seat of intuition inspired by the divine and not from the head and the instincts. That is the right kind of leadership that we have to build in these institutions, which is what we are working towards. So all these education of Ashtavakra is also going towards that end only, that how can our people become Gyanis and operate from that higher self, so that there are no conflicts in the future between people, between institutions, between our own communities. Because everybody says the same thing, does the same thing, because everybody is inspired from the same source. You can't have different answers to the same question if you are asking the same God. That is what I want to achieve. So that is what we are working towards. We'll go to the next sloka, on page number 250. It says, A Brahma Stamba Paryante Bhutagrame Chaturvidhe Vignasyaiva hi Samarthyam Icchan Vivarjane Ichha Anichha Vivarjane. What it means is that A Brahma Stamba Paryante, from the Brahma, which Brahma? Not the Brahman, the Supreme Consciousness, the Brahma, the Creator, Prajapati. From him to Stamba Paryante, till the blade of grass, Bhutagrame, which is nothing but the collection of all the beings, this whole world, of four kinds. What are the four kinds of beings? Garbhaja, those who are born of wombs. Svetja, those who are born of moisture, like the bacteria and other microorganisms. Udbija, those who are born from the earth, like the plants and vegetation. And Andaja, those who are born from the eggs. There are only four types of births in the universe. 1, born from the womb. 2, born from the egg. 3, born from the air, the atmosphere, like bacteria. And 4th, born from the earth, that is vegetations. So from humans to birds and reptiles to microorganisms which just multiply themselves, divide themselves, and to the plants and vegetation. All these is a collection called Bhutagrama, a village of all the creatures. He sees all that as Vignasyaiva hi Samarthyam. Once he knows the true nature of all these things, that from the highest Brahma who created the universe to the smallest blade of grass and everything in between who are born of four kinds of birds, the wise one sees all this as self. He doesn't differentiate them. And so there is nothing called I desire this and I don't desire this. I want this and I don't want this. Everything is the same to this Jnani. We think, oh, he's a lower caste human, let him not come close to me, this and that. We develop that kind of aversion towards certain things and attraction towards the others. And all the time we are swinging between attraction and aversions. We want this, we don't want this. This is what called as raga, dvesha. Raga means attachment to things which are favorable, and dvesha means hatred towards things that are not favorable to you. In this, we keep swinging all our life. Why? Because we see them as different from each other. We see them as born of different wombs, born in different castes, born in different statuses, born in different whatever strengths and powers, intelligence and abilities. So we differentiate between them, and then we like some and we don't like some others. That is the nature of an ignorant person. But for the Jnani, they are all born of the self. Yes, through the parents. What Khalil Gibran says, you are born through your parents, not born to your parents. Through your parents, that's all, not to your parents. So don't get too attached that this is my child, I gave birth, so it should be this way only. No, they have their own jiva, they have their own consciousness, they have brought their own samskaras, and as they grow, they will behave like that. You can't control them. So parents are only facilitators, instruments of the divine. And he compares like a bow and arrow. On the bow and the arrow. So the arrow is shot from the bow. Like that, the children are born from the parents, but the one who wields the bow and arrow is God. Bow is the parents, arrow is the child, and the one who wields it is the divine. This is how Khalil Gibran compares parenting. So they are born through you, not to you. Their life's longing for itself, he says. Life is making itself happen through you. God is making that happen through you. Though you are not the reason for it to happen. You are only an instrument. So to that extent only you can be attached or not attached. To that extent only we are Brahmin or Kshatriyas or Shudras or Vaishyas or Christians or Hindus or Muslims or Buddhists. To that extent we are Americans or Indians or Australians or Japanese. To that extent we are rich or poor or middle class or lower or upper middle class. To that extent we are intelligent and dumb and powerful and weak. These are all differences on the outside. The deep inside we are made of the same self. We are the modifications of the self. He sees in all the differences that are existing, he sees that unity, the oneness. And therefore, he does not have liking for some people and dislike for the others. That aversion or attraction like dualities don't exist in such a person. You can accept everybody as his own. There is a story. At some point in time, Adi Shankaracharya was going, and he was quite particular because he was raised like that in a Brahmin Kula. So he was very particular. They were very, very orthodox people. They don't want anybody else to come near them also. They don't even want the shadow of non-Brahmin to fall on them. They think they'll get whatever dirtied or whatever polluted because of that particular. So he was going somewhere with his disciple. This is a story again in Kashi, Varanasi, in the steps of Varanasi Ghat, and then a Shudra, Chandala they call it. Chandalas were those who were cremating bodies. Even today there is a Ghat is there. Ghat means that platform by the river Ganges next to the Shiva temple in Kashi. Manikarnika Ghat it is said. Very old place, since Kashi is the oldest city on earth, by the way, those who do not know. And in that place, the cremations are continuously done. People go to Kashi only to die and be cremated there. There are lodges in Kashi where people who want to die, they go and take rooms. And they don't go back home. They just stay there as long as they are living. And one day they die, the lodge will take care of all the cremation and rituals. The idea is that if you die in Kashi, you will go to heaven. That kind of a thought or liberation will happen to you. So that ghat is there. So that's where the Chandala was working. These people were used to carrying dead bodies, burning them, cremating them. That is their job. So they're considered people of lower, status in the society because they do all these kind of almost like a scavenging job. So Adi Shankara was walking and this Chandala was coming from the opposite side. Now when you are the greater one, the other has to give way, right? You have the right of way, you think like that because you are superior. That Chandala did not budge from the way. It means Adi Shankara will have to take a detour, but Adi Shankara being a Brahmin, how can he take a detour in front of a Chandala who is lower? So his disciples did not budge, Adi Shankara did not budge. Then the disciples told the Chandala, hey Chandala, Apashaha means move away because Adi Shankara is coming. The disciples were insisting on that Chandala to move away. But this man said, whom are you asking to move away? You're asking this, you think I am Chandala? But Chandala is only the body. And if you're asking body to move away, I am not the body. Body is not the self, body is not real. And if you're asking myself to move away, myself is everywhere, where shall it move to? So this argument he puts in front of Adi Shankara and disciples. They are dumbfounded. how can a Chandala speak such words? Because they don't have access to such knowledge, first of all. He knows that he is the self, he knows he is not the body, and body is Chandala because he is born in that kula. And you are telling the body to move, which is immaterial because that is not real. And the self which is real is not a Chandala. So what is your problem, basically, he is saying. And then Adi Shankara and his disciples are humbled by this experience. And it seems that Chandala was Shiva himself who revealed himself in that way and taught this lesson that, Advaita has to be practiced in letter and spirit. Tomorrow you see a Chandala, suddenly you become Dvaita. Then you go to a temple, again Advaita. That is not the way it should be. Everybody is equal. Are you able to think and believe and behave like that is the question. A lot of things we say, but we don't do it. That is the gap between the saying and doing is the issue in the world. That is hypocrisy. A lot of hypocrites are there. They will go and tell to Lord in the temple, you are everywhere, because of you the whole world runs, in the smallest blade of grass to the Brahma, it is you alone. And then they come out and anybody touches them, anybody comes in there, anybody says a thing, that's it. All the calm and... No, I'm not saying you should go and dirty yourself. No, I'm not saying somebody is infected, sick, don't have to go and hug him. Nobody's saying. But inside, deep inside, you can't harbor hatred, isn't it? That's why I'm a big fan of St. Francis of Assisi, because when he said Jesus, he saw Jesus in the lepers. He went and served them. And obviously, he also died a sick death, but then he didn't care. But I'm not saying go kiss a leper, go hug a leper. I'm not saying that. If you're a doctor, yes, you'll have to treat the leper. That's what you should do. Otherwise, leprosy is contagious. But it doesn't mean that you hate them. Deep inside your heart, you should not carry anything like that. You should not carry the idea of differences. Physically, what needs to be done naturally, see, I am a teacher, I will sit up. You are a student, you will sit down. But it doesn't mean that I am treating you as any inferior. In the self, we are the same. But in student-teacher relationship, we have to behave. So for behavior's sake, we should behave as we did. But deep inside, we should not cause any enmity or harbor any hatred or differences for anybody. We should accept all as equal. That feeling should be there. See, if a snake is there, snake, as I said, snake does not know that it is divine. No? It will still come and bite you. So you have to be careful. Oh, snake is also divine. Let him come inside the home. We don't do that. At the same time, we don't hate the snake. Snake is snake. Its nature is to bite if it comes across some danger. It is poisonous, it is venomous. That is its nature. You avoid it, no? Because you know, you are aware. At the same time, you don't hate the snake. So that is the idea. You don't hate anybody, but doesn't mean you overtly go and start embracing and hugging and... No, that is not necessary. Overtly, you don't have to do anything. But deep inside your heart, you should not carry any differences of negativity, hatred. The other day, one of the ministers had come. He was so happy. I said, what happened? He said, you are a real social servant. You are a real leveler, equalizer in the society. You are doing the real work. I said, what makes you say so? He said, I was going and some of your students are from my district. And they came running and they told me, sir, we are from your district. And then I inquired, who is your father, his mother? And there are children here who are born to Devadasis. They are also your student in your institution. You have not differentiated. How can such a child be here? You are really great, he is saying. Because other mathas and spiritual organizations, they are very orthodox on these matters. Most of the organizations run for either Brahmins or their caste or something like that. Free education is given, food is given, but only to people who belong to their caste and community. Scholarships are given. But here you are giving to everybody without asking a question of the Brahmin or whichever caste you are. And two, even people from such kind of social backgrounds who do not have the name of a father, even they are a part of your institution. That makes me feel very gratified when I look at your institution. He said, I have not seen something like this. I said, father, mother, this birth only. No? That kwastam koyam kutayata kame jananikom. The child, the self is what I am looking at. I am not looking at his background. Yes, we do background check because we want to know if tomorrow we have to report to somebody, inform somebody, whom should I inform? Even an orphan child has some kind of a foster parent or some kind of a guardian. We need to have records of those as per the law. But that does not make us think this is an inferior child, that is a superior child. That does not make us think like that. For us, they are equal. If they are deserving of the opportunity, they can. There is a story in our Upanishad of a boy who wanted to go and learn from the teacher. But this Satyakama, the boy, did not know his father's name. So when he went to the Gurukulam, education was free, anybody could approach a guru. He told the guru, please teach me, I also want to be a disciple. The guru said, of course we will enroll you. What is your father's name? What is your gotra? He said, I don't know, I'll come back, I'll ask my mother and come back. So he goes to his mother and tells mother, my guru is asking for admission. What is my father's name? And the mother, whose name was Jabala, she said, I don't know who is your father. I have worked in so many homes. I don't know who is your father, whom you are born to. But all I know is that you are my son and you have my name. But that's not how it works in the patriarchal system of society. You must tell your gotra, which is your father's lineage. Otherwise, Guru won't admit you. Because he wants to assess you are eligible as a Brahmin or whatever category you are in. But this boy had no answers. But he went straight to the Guru and told, Aham Satyakamo Jabalasya Putraha. That's all is my introduction. I am Satyakama, Jabala's son. I don't know my father's name, I don't know my lineage, I don't know my gotra. Guru says, yes, definitely you do not have the name of your father or gotra, but you have truth on your side. You did not hide your identity. You did not lie to me for the sake of getting an admission. You came and told the truth as it is. This is the quality of the highest born Brahmin. Brahmin is supposed to be highest born caste as per this scriptural thing. So you are definitely born in a highest status of society because you are capable of telling a truth even in the face of such a difficult situation. That is the quality of only people who are pure. So you deserve education, but the social structure is such that I cannot admit you. But I will see to that you get to learn what you got to learn. So he tells him, you go, he gives him few cows and goes to the forest, go to the forest and look after these cows, and when they become 1,000 cows, then you come to me. It means that many years you stay away right now, but when the time is right, I will teach you. So he takes those 2 cows with him, a male cow and a female cow, and takes them to the forest, grazes them as a part of his seva. And after several years, when they have multiplied and become 1,000 cattle, that is the time the Guru comes searching for Satyakama. But by the time he has already learnt all the truth from the nature around, from the cows themselves. That is the story of the Upanishad. So the idea is that no differentiation for a Jnani. This is lesser, this is greater, this is purer, that is impure. Once Vivekananda goes to the court of a king, and there this damsel or dancers are there, these Devadasis were called. That was some culture in those times, that some girls were given away to the temple. They were supposed to entertain the guests and they were supposed to be a servant of the god, but generally they were entertaining the rich and the wealthy, donors and patrons. So this girl was dancing in the court of the king, where the Swami Vivekananda was also invited. So when he saw that this girl who comes from that kind of a background with a compromised character is dancing and entertaining, he gets up in hatred, anger, saying that this is an insult to a sannyasi, to a pure being like me, that I am being made to breathe the same air as this lady. And he starts walking away. But this lady had come with great devotion, saying that today my life will be fulfilled because I will have the darshan of the great Swami Vivekananda. She came with such devotion and sincerity in her heart that I am a fallen woman, I know. Don't deserve such respect. I don't even deserve to see the great ones. I need to live in my own area in the society given to me and do what I am asked to do. But today, what an opportunity, because I am coming to the court of the king and Swami Vivekananda is also going to be here. I believe he is a great Jnani, he is a great learned one. I will also have his darshan and my sins will be dissolved. With that hope, she comes to the court of the king. But here is Swami Vivekananda who is enraged and he starts walking out. And then she says, what kind of Swami you are? Who is still seeing the body and not seeing the soul within and calling me a sinner. What kind of saint are you? She argues that. Then Swami Vivekananda is also humbled. Sometimes these Swamijis, till they attain the perfection, little issues will be there. So by social structure, he was very upset. But then the moment she says, whom are you cursing? Whom are you getting angry with? The body only, right? The profession that I engage in of trading my flesh, that is of the body. But my soul is pure as your pure soul. Why are you punishing me for the soul of mine? For the body that it does what it does. Then Swami Vivekananda learns his lesson. He immediately agrees that he is wrong, that he is seeing it wrongly. So beautiful capture. In fact, this is a movie on Swami Vivekananda, long back we had watched, that this scene comes. The song is there, a beautiful song which follows that. I can't recollect that, but nice song, beautiful song. Kavita Krishnamurti ji has sung. But that song, she says that how can you call me a sinner and walk away without giving me the grace of your darshan? Because my body is engaged in lower things, but my soul is as pure as anybody's. So this is the vision a Jnani should see. That is why a Jnani can embrace and accept everybody. Those who know, there is a story of this dacoit from who's no more now, but he was a devotee who came. Narasimhaji knows. He came to Swami in Puttaparthi, and police was after him, but he was hiding in the guise of sannyasi and roaming around so that people can't catch him. But Bhagwan, when he came to Bhagwan, Bhagwan told him, don't hide like this, you rather reveal your identity, go get yourself arrested, serve the whatever term of your punishment, and then come, I will redeem you. Halagappa is his name. And that man agreed. And he went and got himself arrested and did what needed to do. Then after that he went to start an ashram near Srirangapatna. There is an ashram. He is no more, he passed away. But the ashram is still there. And there are some children, orphans and all who study there. So only Jnani is capable of accepting the sinners. A Jnani will tell, you are a sinner, why should I accept and dirty my or spoil my image and reputation? But a Jnani will be able to accept. So that is the beauty of Jnana. It sees oneness, it sees unity, it doesn't see diversity where there is unity only. Such a life is blessed life, who is able to accept everybody, who is able to engage with everybody and not have any differences and such biased and prejudiced opinions. That is why Jesus could accept everybody, Buddha could accept everybody, Bhagwan could accept everybody, because they did not see these external differences, they saw the inner unity. Okay, there is only one shloka, I will take it 5 more minutes still. Atmanam advayam kaschid janati jagadishwaram yadveti tatsa kurute na bhayam tasya kutrachit. This is on page number 252. It says Atmanadvayam. Atmanam advayam means Atma is same, one without the second. That is what I just mentioned. We are made of the same self. Kaschid janati jagadishwaram. He realizes that self is one. Who? Kaschid, one rare Jnani. See, you saw just now Adi Shankara's team, Vivekananda, they also were deluded by the outside of things. So once in a while, a great Jnani, Kaschid Dhira Pratyagatmanam Ekshad, it says in Kathopanishad, some one person amongst thousands who walk this path is truly a Jnani who realizes this oneness. And what he says, Jagadishwaram, that there is only one Isha, one Lord who pervades the entire world. Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam, that is the idea. He sees that there is only one self, no two. One such rare Jnani sees the Lord alone in all beings, in all things. Yad Vetti, the one who knows this, Tatsa Kurute, he does that. Knowing that is doing that. It means he believes in the oneness and he behaves accordingly. And what does he do? Na bhayam tasya kutrachi, that he has no fear whatsoever. Whom should he fear? He sees himself in everything, he sees himself in everything. What should he fear? Whom should he fear? If there is another in the room, then you fear. Like the dog who sees the mirror and thinks there is another dog and starts barking because he is afraid that there is another dog. He fears. A man who sees the mirror, his own reflection in the mirror, is happy. He is not afraid. He knows this is also me, that is also me. Likewise, a Jnani who has realized the same Ishvara, same Lord is permeating all beings. One such rare Jnani becomes fearless. He has no fear of anything. That's why I said fearlessness is the first criteria on spiritual path. The more you are spiritual, the less you are afraid of things. Fearlessness. Because you are selfless. You don't see differences. Everything is okay. Everything is yours. Everyone is yours. That idea is so very liberating. See, when we say one world, one family, it is not a social idea. That one world, one family means, okay, all religions, all faiths, all nationalities, all status, economic, social, everybody is like a family because we are human beings. No, I'm not even approaching it from the human angle. I may speak like this because we can't go and tell our spiritual angle everywhere. But eventually, the approach should be that everybody is made of the same stuff, same self, born of the same source. So we are a family. So we are a family. Spiritual idea. One world, one family is a spiritual idea, not a social idea. Though it appears to be social idea because we are dealing at this point in time at only social level. But those who can go deeper, they will understand that I am approaching it from a highest spiritual standpoint, not from the social equality point of view. And that is the idea. Such a person has no fear. He sees himself in everything and everything in himself. Where is the fear? It seems, they say, I do not know, this is a story, again it's from the movie Adi Shankara, where some of his jealous co-disciples, co-brothers, they say, in the Guru's ashram, his Guru, Govinda Bhagavad Pada, in his ashram when Adi Shankara was living, there were others also, and they were jealous of him because he was the smartest child. And the Guru gave all the assignments to him, all the responsibility to him, all the attention to him, because he was really deserving of it. So that time some people became jealous, and he had to go somewhere, crossing the forest, and it seemed there was a man-eating tiger in the forest. But these people did not tell him. They lied to him that you go this way. There is no, this is the safest way. But they very much knew there is a man-eating tiger who is attacking everybody, all the passers-by. Adi Shankara maybe knew, maybe did not know, he went. And then there was this tiger standing on the way, hungry. And obviously it was about to attack Adi Shankara. So what is the thought in Adi Shankara's head? He says, all right, if you are hungry and if my body could be of any use to you, I am offering my body. I don't resist, I am not running away. Eat it as you think. Because you are also divine, I am also divine, it will merge in you. So he allowed himself. But it so happens that somebody comes at that time and the tiger is chased away or whatever happens, and Adi Shankara is saved. But it's not what happened afterwards, it's what happened during that moment. During the moment he stood in front of the tiger, saying, if you are hungry and this body can feed you, I am okay to offer it to you. Remember that day we saw one drama, no? Punya Koti. That cow who goes to the tiger and says that I will come back, I have to feed my baby calf and then I will come back. I don't lie to you, I'll keep up my word. Tiger thinks that she will never come back, I was a fool to let her go. But she comes back and offers herself. The idea is that fear is not there in these people. The element of fear disappears because you fear only when there is another. If you only are in the room, how can you fear yourself? If there is only one in the place, how can you fear? There is two, then there is a difference. And then you can be afraid whether it's a good man or a bad man, whether it will be helpful or harmful. Then you fear or accordingly you do things. So that is the idea. All the life, is going, our life is all going in just self-preservation, self-protection, self-promotion. That's all. Yoga Kshema. That's why Kathopanishad says, when we think we are just this limited self with the body and the mind and we have a life, an existence, an individuality that needs to be preserved, protected, provided for, then what we do, whole life goes in this Raga Dvesha only. Yoga Kshema only. That first yoga means get things, Kshema means protect and preserve those. Earn and then grow the wealth. Amass and then protect all that you have amassed. In this only whole life goes away. That's why he says, Shreyascha preyascha manushya metat tau samparitya vivintira shreyo bhi dhiro bhi preyaso vinyate. Preyo mando hi yoga kshama vinita, it says. The intelligent one choose the right over the pleasant. Why? Because that is what is this for highest good. Pleasant is chosen by the fools who are only interested in self-preservation and self-promotion. Yoga kshema. They are not interested in higher things. That's why Krishna says, Sarvadharman paridyajya mamekam sharanam vravaja. Leave all this idea of doing, not doing. Come to me. I will rescue you. No papa, punya, nothing will happen to. Come to me means surrender to that divine. That's what. When Krishna says come to me, it doesn't mean Krishna is, some of these Krishna devotees, Krishna is the God, they say. Krishna is God. Whereas we are saying God is Sri Krishna. Some Sai Baba devotees, Sai Baba is God. Whereas I take God is Sai Baba. God was, is and will be. Comes in many ways. Likewise, this Krishna says that I will take care. Also he assures you, right? Aranya shintayanto mam yejana paripasate tesham nityavi yuktanam yogakshema vahamyaham. Those who think of me, meditate on me and continuously are devoted to me, surrender to me, without losing that surrender even for a moment, continuity of surrender. To such people, what do I give? Yogakshema vahamyam. I look after your welfare. Don't you be too worried about it. Don't be too afraid. Get rid of that fear. Why? Because I am there. Self is there. Divine is there. Surrender. That is the idea. So all these people who are fearless alone can attain God. Nayamatma balahine labhya. Weak and fearful people cannot attain God. Spirituality is for the fearless. Once you are fearless, you are spiritual. And once you are spiritual, you are fearless. It is like self-fulfilling. Because you see the self in everything. Pratibodha viditam matam amrutatvam himindati. In every action, every aspect, everything that happens in your life, you see the hand of God. Somebody sent a nice quote which says, the one who leaves everything in the hand of God sees the hand of God in everything. That is how it is. In everything, even bad situations, you will see the hand of God, how it is good for you. In good situations, of course, you see the hand of God. So in every situation, such a person is not afraid of anybody, anything, and lives a life of freedom and fearlessness. This is the blessedness of the state of Brahma Jnana, and only such people can take up projects and organizations and tasks like this. They have no fear. No fear, as I said, of praise or blame, of profits and losses, of successes and failures, or even of life and death. They are not afraid because they know the self and they know this is only a passing cloud and nothing is permanent. So they continue to do what they have got to do. Very beautiful bhajan vachana by Akka Mahadevi, which says, I am just the monkey in the hand of the monkey man, at the end of the stick, the monkey dances to the tune of or to the instructions of the show man. Likewise, I am a doll, I am a puppet at the end of the string, which is held by the divine. As long as he makes me dance, I dance. As per he makes me dance, I dance. And when he asks me to finish and I'm done and asks me to go away, I leave. I'm just a puppet, a doll in the hands of the divine. So the Jnanis live like that. They don't have a mind of their own, intelligent of their own, ideas of their own. They're inspired by the divine. They are here to express the divine will and do as per what divine wants. They don't take any responsibility of doer and enjoyership. That is the song of Akka Mahadevi we'll hear.
जगदा यंत्रवाहका चन्ना मल्लिकार्जुना जगदयंत्र वाहका चन्ना मल्लिकार्जुना नीसा केंबन्नक्का कोलतुदिय कोडगनंते नीनतुदिय गुंबियंते कोलतुदिय कोडगनंते नीनतुदिय गुंबियंते आडिदेनಯ್ಯ ನೀನಾಡಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಆಡಿದೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನಾಡಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಆಡಿದೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನಾಡಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಆಡಿದೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನಾಡಿಸಿದಂತೆ ನುಡಿದೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀ ನುಡಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಕೋಲ ತುದಿಯ ಕೋಡಗನಂತೆ ನೇಣ ತುದಿಯ ಗೊಂಬೆಯಂತೆ ಆನು ಇರುವೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನು ಇರಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಆನು ಇರುವೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನು ಇರಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಆನು ಇರುವೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನು ಇರಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಜಗದ ಯಂತ್ರವಾಹಕ ಚನ್ನ ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ ಜಗದ ಯಂತ್ರವಾಹಕ ಚನ್ನ ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ ನೀ ಸಾಕೆಂಬನ್ನಕ್ಕ ಕೋಲ ತುದಿಯ ಕೋಡಗನಂತೆ ನೇಣ ತುದಿಯ ಗೊಂಬೆಯಂತೆ ಆಡಿದೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನಾಡಿಸಿದಂತೆ ನುಡಿದೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀ ನುಡಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಕೋಲ ತುದಿಯ ಕೋಡಗನಂತೆ ನೇಣ ತುದಿಯ ಗೊಂಬೆಯಂತೆ ಆನು ಇರುವೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನು ಇರಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಜಗದ ಯಂತ್ರವಾಹಕ ಚನ್ನ ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ ಜಗದ ಯಂತ್ರವಾಹಕ ಚನ್ನ ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ ಚನ್ನ ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ ಆನು ಇರುವೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನು ಇರಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಆನು ಇರುವೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನು ಇರಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಆನು ಇರುವೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನು ಇರಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಜಗದ ಯಂತ್ರವಾಹಕ ಜಗದ ಯಂತ್ರವಾಹಕ ಚೆನ್ನ ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ ನೀ ಸಾಕೆಂಬನ್ನಕ್ಕ ಕೋಲ ತುದಿಯ ಕೋಡಗನಂತೆ ನೇಣ ತುದಿಯ ಗೊಂಬೆಯಂತೆ ಆಡಿದೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನಾಡಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಆಡಿದೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀನಾಡಿಸಿದಂತೆ ನುಡಿದೆನಯ್ಯ ನೀ ನುಡಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಕೋಲ ತುದಿಯ ಕೋಡಗನಂತೆ ನೇಣ ತುದಿಯ ಗೊಂಬೆಯಂತೆ ಕೋಲ ತುದಿಯ ಕೋಡಗನಂತೆ ನೇಣ ತುದಿಯ ಗೊಂಬೆಯಂತೆ ನೇಣ ತುದಿಯ ಗೊಂಬೆಯಂತೆ ನೇಣ ತುದಿಯ ಗೊಂಬೆಯಂತೆ. सर्वसुगुण सिंधवे सकल सुजन बंधवे सर्वसुगुण सिंधवे सकल सुजन बंधवे गुरवे मधुसूदनाय मधुकमंगलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय मधुकमंगलम् दीन दुखित पोषकाय दान धर्म प्रेरकाय दीन दुखित पोषकाय दान धर्म प्रेरकाय सर्वलोकहितरकाय सर्वमंगलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय मधुकमंगलम् वेदनादवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय वेदनादवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय ब्रह्मज्ञानबोधकाय दिव्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय मधुकमङ्गलम् सदय हृदयराजिताय सुमन सदन शङ्कराय सदय हृदयराजिताय सुमन सदन शङ्कराय शरणमुक्तिकारणाय मोक्षमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय मधुकमङ्गलम् सत्यसायिनः प्रियाय सत्यप्रेम विग्रहाय सत्यसायिनः प्रियाय सत्यप्रेम विग्रहाय नित्यशुद्धनिर्मलाय नित्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय दिव्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय ममितमङ्गलम् ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्तजना संरक्षक भक्तजना संरक्षक पति महेश्वर ॐ जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रितकल्पलतिका आश्रितकल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे मातपिता गुरुदैवमो मर्यन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मर्यन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्राशयना ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी ॐ साई महादेव सद्गुरु साई महादेवा मंगलहारति अंदुको मंगलहारति अंदुको मंदरगिरिधारी ॐ जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ॐ नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्यनारायण नारायण ॐ सत्यनारायण नारायण ॐ सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय बोलो सद्गुरु श्री मधुसूदन साई